This is the Epoch Times.
Welcome to Epoch Audio, showcasing the best journalism covering news, culture, and society, addressing issues overlooked or avoided by other media. For the text version of this and more articles providing truth, tradition, and hope, please go to theepochtimes.com.
Israel-Hamas fighting resumes with rocket fire and airstrikes. By Caden Pearson. Sirens blared in southern Israel as its aerial defense system shot down rocket fire from Gaza 1 hour before a truce set to end. Fighting resumed between Israel and Hamas early Friday morning, ending the week-long truce as no immediate sign of a deal to extend the ceasefire an eighth day was reached. Israel Defense Forces, IDF, announced that it had resumed combat operations against the Hamas terror group, accusing it of breaching the ceasefire. Hamas violated the operational pause and, in addition, fired towards Israeli territory, the Israeli minister said Friday. The IDF had resumed combat against the Hamas terrorist organization in Gaza. Sirens blared in southern Israel about an hour before the ceasefire was due to end, with the IDF reporting that its aerial defense system successfully intercepted a launch from Gaza. A second round of rocket fire was reported a few minutes before the end of the ceasefire, according to the IDF. The Hamas-ISIS terrorist organization has violated the outline. It has not met its obligation to release all of the women hostages today and has launched rockets at Israeli citizens, read a statement from the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday. Upon the resumption of fighting, we emphasize the government of Israel is committed to achieving the goals of the war, releasing the hostages, eliminating Hamas, and ensuring that Gaza never again constitutes a threat to the residents of Israel, the statement continued. According to the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Interior in Gaza, IDF forces began firing into the northwest Gaza, the focus of Israel's ground offensive shortly after the truce expired. The ministry reported Israeli airstrikes hitting southern Gaza, including the community of Abbasan, east of the town of Khan Yunis. Once fighting resumed, significant clashes in the Sheikh Radwan neighborhood of Gaza City in the northern part of Gaza were reported, according to the Jerusalem Post, citing Palestinian media. The deal ended after a week of negotiations and several extensions, despite global pressure to maintain the temporary ceasefire for an extended duration. Egyptian and Qatari negotiators had been pushing to extend the pause in fighting in Gaza to facilitate the release of further Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners, and to allow more aid into the Strip, according to Egypt's State Information Service. Israeli officials have repeatedly stated that a condition of any extension to the pause in fighting is that Hamas must release 10 Israeli women and children held hostage per day. Then the fighting will resume, according to Mr. Netanyahu. Full-scale fighting. Even as Qatari and Egyptian negotiators pushed for another deal to exchange more hostages for prisoners on Thursday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant made clear that its forces should be prepared to resume full-scale war at any point. We should be prepared for a quick transition into full-scale fighting at any point. Today, tomorrow, at any moment. As soon as we maximize the move to return hostages, we will resume fierce fighting across the whole Gaza Strip, Mr. Gallant said. The Israeli defense minister has said Israel's goal is to destroy Hamas and return all hostages abducted during the group's deadly campaign in southern Israel on October 7th. We will fight in the entire Strip, Mr. Gallant said this week. On Thursday, Hamas also asked its terrorist fighters to maintain a high combat readiness posture. On Friday, Israel released another group of Palestinian prisoners, hours after the Hamas terrorist group freed additional Israeli hostages under a last-minute agreement to extend their ceasefire by another day in Gaza. During the 7-day operational pause, Hamas's hostages were consistently traded for Palestinian prisoners. This has seen Hamas free 80 Israeli women and children, some of whom are dual citizens, and another 24 foreign nationals. Additionally, another Israeli dual citizen was also freed outside of the agreed-upon deal. As of Thursday, 240 Palestinians have been freed from Israeli prisons, mostly women and minors convicted or facing trial in Israel for various crimes. The Biden administration, which supports Israel's right to defend itself, has also cautioned Mr. Netanyahu against repeating its wide assault in the enclave's north in the southern part, where millions of Palestinians now take refuge. The ceasefire allowed hundreds of trucks carrying aid to reach Palestinians in Gaza. The trucks carried food, water, medicine, shelter, supplies, fuel, and cooking gas via Egypt, near the enclave's south. This week, the White House also said that aid has reached from northern Gaza, the focus of the fighting, for the first time. According to the Hamas-controlled Gaza Health Ministry, which does not differentiate between civilians and combatants, over 13,000 Palestinians have been killed. Approximately two-thirds of them have been women and minors, according to the group. Hamas terrorists killed 1,200 Israelis during the surprise rampage on October 7th, which triggered the war. Thank you for listening to the Epoch Times. That was Israel-Hamas fighting resumes with rocket-fire airstrikes, written by Caden Pearson, read to you by Shane Rankin.
For more Epoch Times articles in text, please visit theepochtimes.com.
This is the Epoch Times.